I first met Don and Ron Wade several years ago touring their old facility in Alabama, where they produced several award-winning aircraft and a few that became sweepstakes airplanes for well-known organizations. They have this unique ability to make paint look wet, months, even years after spraying it. Today they produce the Patriot aircraft and restore aircraft back to beyond new.
All right, so now we're up front, like I say, where the magic does happen. This is the covering and paint department. You know, Ron and the guys can restore an airplane and just do a fabulous job, but with having these guys here, making sure that the fit and the finish is where it needs to be. Come on, watch old Jay over here. It takes a lot of elbow grease, so he's really sanding around all the stitching and all the little rivets and stuff, and it just takes a lot of effort, and people don't realize it, but you notice he's not stopping either. He's continuing working, but it's just amazing what kind of finish we can get out of what Jay does. Him and Fernando are just phenomenal as far as getting things prepped and ready. Come over here, we're going to show you.
You want to explain real quick the process that you use between putting the fabric on it, shrinking it, and then how many coats of primer you use or to get to the point where you're going to paint it?
Well, you know, it's the one thing that's good about using Airtech covering system is the primer system. It's a lot simpler process, but the big thing is when we do the covering, we don't have to put the silver on it or the poly brush, the pink. We go straight to the Airtech primer, and we put 3 coats of primer on it. And then we sand it, and when we're done, usually all we have to do is spot prime it. So we pretty much get away with that, not having to do 2 and 3 times of priming something. It's usually 1.5 times, and the priming process. And then again, the detail is what you can do with the Airtech. The Airtech finish system is just amazing because now it sands really good, like a urethane primer sands. And so you really have a chance to you're not adding a lot of weight, but what you're doing is you're sanding down through it, and you're producing a finish by filling that weave up when you sand to give it almost like a metal style finish. So it makes it very, very nice.
So did you guys create your own rotisseries over here, or is that just an off-the-shelf thing you can?
No, these are some rotisseries that we created. The guys at WAG Aero used to make a kind of system like this, but we felt it was too flimsy. And so what we did, those big old hoops that you see right there, you can find those all over the country. Those are big spools that they wrap up cable on or PVC pipe. A lot of times you'll see them when they're putting that orange and blue and red pipe down the side of the freeway for the new fiber optic systems and stuff like that. And so you take those hoops that's on a big wheel and big spool, and you just cut all the structure out of it, and so you got a nice round hoop to work with. And then we take old lift struts that that are no longer any good, and what we do is we put our bar across here, and then we take a lift strut because it's adjustable, and it's got a screw here. We can move it back and forth to adjust it for different wings. But and then we just got these little pins that we hook and tape into place. But now we can adjust it and do whatever we need to do. And then the length of the wing, we've got a bar in the middle. We can adjust the length of it for the wing we need. And it's, like I say again, it makes it kind of nice because now, you know, you can rotate it any way you want to rotate it. And it makes it nice for looking at the wing, make sure the final prep is ready. And of course, when you're painting, it's a godsend. Trying to paint something, you know, upside down or whatever.
So that's a good question right there. I see this a lot on different groups and so forth.
Yep.
Do you like to paint flat up against the wall, or flat as if, you know, you're spraying the ground?
You know what I'm looking.
Vertical or horizontal?
Well, no, it's really more of at an angle. I can rotate this and catch the light.
Okay.
The light is your friend, because if you can't see the paint flowing onto the wing, then you can't see you're putting enough or too much.
But you don't have a preference, or there's not a trick to doing it vertical versus horizontal so the paint doesn't sag and run as it's coming down?
Now, see, that's the thing, though. That's the good part about doing it this way, where we can rotate it.
Okay.
Again, we can put the right amount of paint on it, but if we happen to overload it a little bit, and we call them, instead of runs, we call them flow indicators, okay? Well, all I've got to do is I can take this wing, and if I've got something running down this way, now I simply just rotate it. And now I can put it whatever I need to make it lay out and flow out flat.
That's cheating.
It's cheating, exactly.
That's cheating.
Exactly. And I love cheating.
You make it run the other way.
Hey, I can make it run the other way. I can make it do what I want it to do. But the main thing is when I'm spraying, I don't want to be reaching way out here, okay? Because the whole idea about spraying is the pattern of the gun. And when it sprays out, you got a nice fan coming out. And if you've got the gun tilted, and that means the fan's like this, so now what happens is you get what we call a tiger stripe. So now this is closer to the product, this is further away, so now it's uneven amount of paint going on, whereas if you tilt it this way, the fan is even and you're getting an even pattern of paint out. So the likelihood of runs or flow indicators is a lot less when you want your gun perpendicular to what you're spraying, okay? So when I'm coming down through here, I'll actually rotate the gun based on where I'm at. And same thing with this, I'll rotate it, and I'll spray another couple of pass, rotate it, spray a couple more pass.
So you're keeping the light in the path all the time.
I want the light and I want my gun perpendicular.
Right, right.
If my gun is not perpendicular to the surface, then you're gonna have a heavy edge. And so now when you spray, you're gonna spray like this. And so this is gonna be heavy and this is gonna be light. And so now what you wind up with is you gotta come only right here, and now you're still spraying a lot of paint in this area and nothing up here. So it's very important that your gun is perpendicular when you're spraying, and that's a big thing that we've learned over the years, obviously spraying. You know, if you don't got a rotisserie, it's very difficult, that's for sure.
All right, so the new addition from the other location to here also is this spray booth. And being that you do this for a living, it's quite an investment for you.
Yeah, it's about $85,000 for the paint booth. And you could spend a lot less. You can buy the inflatable ones. The big thing is, as long as you've got a way of controlling the amount of air going through it and filters to pre-filter it. But this booth here is the cat's meow. It's heated. It's got frequency drive fans on it so that it balances this airflow out and keeps the right amount of pressure in the paint booth. You don't want a negative pressure where it's drawing dust from outside. That's where you really get the finishes, making sure that you're not having a bunch of overspray floating around, so you're moving enough air, but you also don't want to have that negative or positive pressure. You want just a touch of positive pressure on your booth. It makes a big difference. If it's nothing but negative, then you've got stuff outside. If there's a crack or a nook somewhere where air can suck in from outside, you're going to get dirt and trash. And so this paint booth here, the reason it's so expensive is because of what it can do. And I can tell you, our paint jobs are awesome, but this thing makes that next level much, much better. It's really nice. We're getting ready to spray some parts right now, so anyway, you'll get a chance to see that maybe on this video too as well. But yeah, the paint booth is a big deal.
Dynon Avionics at Dynon.com, offering everything from state-of-the-art glass cockpit options to advanced control modules that power and control your entire aircraft. Gratia Aero Group at GratiaAero.com, proudly representing these best-in-class brands for experimental general aviation. Sherwings, BD Aviation, and MW Fly. KFA, Kitplanes for Africa, engineered for adventure and built for the bush is their motto, offering several STOL-kit aircraft options like the Expedition, Safari, Bush Baby, and Explorer. Find them online at kitplanesforafrica.co.za. Visit us online at experimentalaircraftchannel.com for all things DIY aviation. And consider supporting us on our Patreon page to help us bring you more original aviation content.
One of the things, a little bit of noise in here from the paint booth, but we use fine line tape when we're doing lines, so it makes a big difference in your edge. You know, the tape that you use is going to definitely be one of those 1% things in how the finish comes out. So come on in, like I said, there'll be a lot of noise. But that's, you know, we got hangers so we can hang everything, but we're using a nice fine line tape, and I use a continuous piece of tape. Every time you stop and start, you have a chance for it to bleed under. So anyway, so now, just like this piece here, you know, I can flip it, twist it, and I can get the light any direction I want to get it, so I don't have to worry about it. I've got rotisseries for these as well when I'm doing the whole entire piece, but when I'm doing these sections, I hang them like this right here. So I'm going to give away another secret here in just a second. I'm going to give this secret away. Come on, follow me. This guy right here and that right there.
The yellow towel?
Well, this is a microfiber. Smarty.
Buy yourself a yellow towel.
Buy yourself some good microfiber rags. These guys, along with the foaming glass cleaner, when you spray it on there, gets down in the pores and pulls the dirt out. And then the microfiber rag, because again, it's, I mean, I don't want to necessarily do it, but you can just sit it right there and the thing wants to hang. That's because those fibers are trying to hang on to every little piece. And so it really helps pick up the dirt and trash off of your product before you paint.
Do you need to shake it or wash it first? There's no other little yellow lint.
We buy them brand new. Nothing but brand new towels goes in that paint booth.
Okay.
These will get recycled and washed, and then they'll go for other stuff further down the line. But we will not use nothing but brand new microfibers in that paint booth before we go in. So that's just another little detail that we go for. And so the other one is a paint suit. You can buy these paint suits pretty cheap. You'd be surprised, especially if you buy one without a hood on it. This one's got a hood and the hair off your head. The other one is when you're spraying is wearing gloves. Gloves, you think they're protecting you. Well, they are. But believe it or not, you got stuff and particles as you're spraying and pulling the gun, that air is moving past you. And if you got a hair that wants to come loose or something, even little pieces of your skin, you know, I mean, I'm serious about it as far as trash. That's how much detail we go to, is I take those gloves and I'm wrap them around the end of my sleeve so that it seals me up from any of the stuff coming off my hand, getting onto the paint job. So it just makes that little bit of difference. Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man then.
I was going to say Doc from Back to the Future.
There you go. There you go.
Marty!
Marty! Marty! Now I got my paint. We'll stir it up real good. Do the long pour. All right.
that's how you paint.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, thanks for showing us how it's done there in your booth and kind of like your technique and so forth, well, behind the scenes. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you for C&D or Patriot or all the things that you do here, we'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, just tell them to look at patriotaircraft.com, or specifically for my email, it's don@patriotaircraftusa.com, or they can call me on my cell phone, I don't mind, at 205-230-6089. And of course, C&D Aviation at yahoo.com is another one, also, and I answer all that. So just give me a buzz. I'll be able to help you out if I can.
That's why I wanted to see you in person to talk shop. Will you be at Sun 'n Fun and Oshkosh this year?
Yeah, matter of fact, we're going to be at Sun 'n Fun. We're going to have 2, if not 3 of our Super Patriots at the Bushwell Base Camp over by Paradise City at Sun 'n Fun. And then, of course, we'll be at Oshkosh. Not sure where we're going to be at Oshkosh yet. We're talking with a couple different vendors about showing up at their booth, but we'll definitely be there for sure at Oshkosh. So look us up. We'll put stuff on our website, like I say, patriotaircraftusa.com, and just come look us up, and we'll be able to work with you guys and help you any way we can. And, of course, we'd love to restore a cool airplane, but what we'd really love is to build you a new one.
Thank you for watching this episode with us. And a shout out to our patrons on patreon.com. Zach Newsom, Mike Babcock, Lynn Gardner, and the rest of the crew are huge supporters of aviation. See you in the next episode.